You know that AI assistant your team loves? The one that helps them write code faster? Well, what if I told you it could also be your single biggest security risk? That's what we're digging into today, how to lock down your company's most valuable secrets in this new era of AI. All right, so all the info we're about to jump into comes straight from Chapter 7 of a tutorial from Virtualization Options LLC. Let's get started. So, is your AI coding assistant secretly moonlighting for the competition? Look, it sounds like something out of a movie, but this isn't a hypothetical question. The very tools we're using to get ahead, to be more productive, they can seriously backfire and become a huge threat. This is a real risk, and we've got to get our heads around it. So let's paint a picture. You got a senior engineer, right? They're under the gun, staring down a tight deadline, trying to solve some super complex problem. So what do? They pop open a public AI tool, paste in some code snippets, maybe even some performance data, just to get a quick answer. Seems totally harmless, right? Wrong. That one simple action, that could be the tiny crack that leads to a massive flood, a catastrophic IP leak. All right, so let's talk about what's actually at risk. What are we trying to protect here? This is the good stuff, the core of your company's value. And I'm not just talking about a few files on a server. We're talking about the blueprints for your products, your entire innovation strategy, the actual source code and algorithms, your secret sauce. This is literally years of work, of blood, sweat, and tears, all of it just walking right out the digital door. Okay, so we know what's in the vault. Now, let's look at how the bad guys can pull off the heist. How does this super valuable IP get quietly siphoned out using the very AI tools your team uses and trusts every single day? First on the list is something called source code extraction. Think about it like this. It's like someone is collecting puzzle pieces. An engineer asks the AI for help with a tiny bit of code here, another one asks about a small function over there. Each little prompt is a piece of the puzzle. And over time, attackers can reassemble all those little pieces and boom, they've got your complete proprietary algorithm. Okay, next up is roadmap intelligence. Picture this. Your team is having a big brainstorming session, using an AI tool to map out your next huge product launch. All those juicy details, timelines, secret features, the whole shebang, it all leaks. And then, out of nowhere, your biggest competitor launches your product before you even get the chance. Ouch. Oh, and it gets even better. Or worse, depending on how you look at it. Let's say an engineer is trying to fix a scaling problem and, whoops, accidentally describes your entire system architecture in a prompt. You've just handed your rivals a complete blueprint to copy your infrastructure. They get to skip all the expensive R&D that you poured millions into. Now, this is an absolute nightmare scenario for any company that innovates. It's called patent circumvention. Your team is kicking around a brilliant, groundbreaking idea, something not patented yet, in an AI chat. A competitor gets wind of it, they rush to file a patent on your idea, and just like that, you're legally blocked from developing your own invention. Can you even imagine? Okay, that was a lot. And yeah, these threats are pretty scary. But the good news is we're not helpless here. There are absolutely ways to fight back. So let's shift gears and talk about detection. How do you actually spot one of these heists in progress? The name of the game here is vigilance. You've got to be watching your code repositories for weirdly large copy-paste jobs. You need to keep an eye on who's accessing your sensitive design docs. And maybe, most crucial of all, you need automated systems that sound the alarm the second any of your core IP, your crown jewels, shows up in an AI prompt. But here's the thing. Spotting a threat is one thing. That's reactive. The real question, the one that should keep every tech leader up at night, is how do you stop it from happening in the first place? Because prevention, that's the real win. So, how do we actually get out in front of this? All right, let's talk about prevention. It's time to build some walls around that vault. And look, this isn't about slowing your engineers down, it's about giving them the freedom to innovate, but to do it safely. It really boils down to 4 key pillars. You've got using the right tools, classifying your IP, beefing up code reviews, and locking down roadmap access. Get these 4 things right, and you've built a pretty solid fortress. Let's dig into each one. First things first, tools and classification. You gotta give your team the right tools for the job. That means approved, secure AI assistants, either on-premise or in private cloud, that explicitly do not train on your data. And then, you have to make it crystal clear what's a company secret versus what's general knowledge. no gray areas. Next up, process and access controls. The goal here is to bake security right into your team's daily habits. Train your code reviewers to be your first line of defense, spotting potential leaks. Use automation, like pre-commit hooks, to scan for secrets before they ever leave a developer's machine. And for your absolute most critical algorithms, just lock them down so they can't be pasted into any AI prompt, period.
Okay, but what if the worst happens? You've done everything right, but there's still a breach. What's your emergency plan? What do you do when your secret sauce is suddenly not so secret anymore?
You have to move fast, like lightning fast. First, document exactly what was exposed. Get your IP lawyers on the phone immediately. You need to let product leadership know because your roadmap might need a major pivot. And engineering has to start figuring out how to make that stolen IP less valuable or even obsolete. This is a real red alert, all hands on deck situation. And all of this really leads to the single most important takeaway. It's this. If security feels like a roadblock, your engineers, your smart, creative, problem-solving engineers, will just find a way around it. The only way to win is to make the secure way the easy way. You have to weave this stuff into your workflow so it's practically invisible. So, I want to leave you with one final question to bring back to your team. Your team is out there building the future, right? So, is your greatest innovation about to become your competitor's next big product? The tools are amazing, but the risks are just as big. It's time to start asking these hard questions and put the protections in place to safeguard the future that you're all working so hard to build.